everybody. Today we're going to talk about why do your joints crack when you crack them, kind of like that. When we say joints, we just want to define what joints mean. So most of the joints in our body, when you say joint, we refer to it as a synovial joint, which just means there's bone, and then there's space, and then there's bone. And within that space, there's fluid. And the fluid does not escape the joint space because there's a capsule that surrounds it. And within that capsule, there's a whole bunch of sensors, we'll call them nervous system sensors, that detect the position of the joint. And those sensors give your brain information about your position. So if my goal is to only reach this far, I know if I'm starting here, my brain's getting information about where my hand is in space, so that I only know if I only have to go this far to write on the board. So that's pretty cool. So where does the cracking come in? So within the fluid inside the space between the bones, there's little air bubbles, little carbon dioxide bubbles. So what happens when we stretch the bone away from the other bone in any direction, whether it's this way, that way, that capsule gets stretched with it. And it changes the volume of the fluid inside the joint. And those little gas bubbles that were in there, if we do it rapidly, those gas bubbles dissipate very quickly. And that's the sound you hear. The feeling you get, the good feeling you get, is more related to the stretch of that capsule, those joint receptors, because it sends some signals to your brain that make the surrounding muscles relax. It sends some hormones out that make you kind of feel good. But the benefit also is that you stretch the joint. If the joint is especially tight, that's a productive stretch. The problem is that people who crack their own joints, over time, that tissue right there kind of gets overstretched. Doesn't do as good of a job supporting the two bones, and it's probably not productive anymore. In fact, those are the types of things that you run into trouble if you start cracking yourself over and over and over and over again. So that's part of where that's why you get the crack. It's not related to putting anything back in place. It's related to a stretch on that joint capsule and the rapid dissipation of those little air bubbles.